Baddies.
Cat humans, so-called
So-called
baddies.
Cat humans, so-called baddies are ruining our society.
Someone on Twitter said they wanted an essay on why they should like Baddie and what it is, and this is sort of my attempt at accomplishing that. Baddie is simple in so many ways, and in many eyes too simple. I think part of the problem is that title fitting as it is. There isn't much else content-wise in the song to take away. We heard the title weeks ahead of release, we have some kind of expectation, and really it sometimes feels like there isn't anything else to the song but the word baddie. I had a poetry professor who said you should never choose a title that comes directly from the poem itself because you miss an opportunity to give the piece more dimension. Sometimes we would read poems with titles that served as the first line, and I think something akin to that would have been helpful in this instance, as it would provide nuance without altering the song, though many might actually wish to alter the song. I think the song is good as what I see as a moral opponent to the not like other girls notion. That sounds crazy, but just stick with me here. The song begins with onomatopoeia with ba sounds establishing their own rhythm that follows their own rules. They follow the rule of three in the beginning and chorus, but they go a step beyond, creating a rule of three within the rule of three, the baddie, reinforcing their own style and power to move the song forward. They use adjectives featuring perfect internal rhyme but no commas. It reminds me of the beginning of Something Wicked This Way Comes, when Bradbury does not use commas as one normally would to emphasize the linkage between the qualities he describes. The idea of not like other girls is that the girl wants to separate herself from others, that she does not want to be associated with girls she views unfavorably as if their threats are just annoying. There can be multiple distinguished baddies, but they as a collective remain a collective. The girl listening to the song is meant to be a baddie as well. They say whatever happens, happens, denoting there can be separate realities and they are still valid. They dare people to catch them, getting people involved in order to introduce the narrative that baddies are elusive, not omnipresent, but omnipotent as a direct result of that. They do separate themselves from the regulars, but there's no indication of the demographic of these people, only their character. And what girl has never fantasized about being a blue-blooded royal? I have fans specifically who loved the song all about it. Also, blue blood and DNA serve as synecdoches, parts representing the whole, but in doing so they personify what could detach them from reality. Blue blood running like the body itself serves as its grounding. They create fake discussions, fake people, dismissing rules kind of like Unche and Unforgiven, an illusion that could bring women pitted against each other all the time together. They talk about being ahead of trends, epistemological in this manner, but always seeking more and more power. They say what they want, all means of being ontological, and reference the sort of restrictions placed on women. In the pre-chorus, they try to be encouraging, even discouraging them in a way that it is encouraging, by suggesting that they do not put their head down. When they head into the nas, I must say it feels effective in a way refrains like this often don't. Na over la feels specific, and I always associate na with media targeting girls literally only because they chose na a lot in High School Musical, and that was the first time I remember noticing the specific choice. I know that has nothing to do with anything, but that's there in my head. In general, it comes off very unbothered and like they can adhere to standards without giving in to them. In the second verse, they open with a line that is so simple yet packed with so many literary devices, and the fit pop like bubblegum. It's abstract. There's a simile and gustatory imagery and onomatopoeia, and it's about appearances, but they convey it in such a sweet way. There's contrast in the next line, appearance versus the trustworthiness of judgment. Makes it clear they aren't just talking down to their audience. The next line isn't even dependent, with neither a subject or a predicate. It's something else entirely, given a whole line to embody whatever they want to embody, but also fashion for themselves. Then we have a command that plays on gum as a motif and lots of T repetition, making it sound official because they are, in fact, baddies who get to talk like that. They say they like that it's troublesome, but it becomes clear here that they do not want to say the words I am, which would fit in here just as well, but we'll put a pin in that and circle back to it at the end. They speak directly to nobody, giving them their respective capitalization, yet still reducing them in a way that also emphasizes they are not omnipresent, but they could be bothered to engage with those who oppose them in a playful manner, daring in a way that technically sounds kind. They use a metaphor to compare all of this to a thriller where they get to identify as the villain. They shelve intrapersonal identity to be some sort of hustlers, which to me suggests other girls can do it too with the proper initiative. Then they command the subject to move out of the way. Their threat to fly up if blocked is figurative and a bit odd, but I do like tying in the so at the end of the line with catch me if you can, bringing in the context they have previously established to make it complete and connected. I said I'd get back to the I am debacle. I think everyone and their mom on KTube is vaguely aware why I've released this song, and that is to diversify their concepts instead of limiting themselves to one specific style. I talked about it briefly in my video on Yoonjin, but part of writing a voice is knowing who or what the song exists for, if it's made to be released, which is fine, or made to otherwise express something. In this case, the context of it as a release was intentional on every level of production, but it was still a means of delivering a message that they will not be a one-note kind of group, and there's more to expect from their releases that have yet to be seen. It's certainly something ballsy after literally winning Song of the Year at Mama with a song in a style they do really well, but there are times when they might say I am but avoid it, like in the line nothing like the regulars, or as I said, when they say they like it's troublesome when they could just refer to themselves as troublesome. This era is different and they don't want to get anything misconstrued, and that is why I feel this is a well-constructed song. It might not be the deepest song ever written, but it accomplishes the goals it seems to have set out for, and it brings new perspective to songs about girlhood and IVE's music in general.